Hi.
How you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
We got a call just basically that you were just reporting vehicles throughout I guess that we're driving around the IBC.
Okay, what happened?
I'm sorry?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
It was just that we had received a call that you were reporting vehicles while they were passing by the IBC.
Okay.
Are you from the area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an idea on you just at this special that I'm in contact with you?
This a consensual encounter?
No, we actually got a call.
How come it's not consensual?
Well, because we had parties that were asking for me to check out with you.
Is there a crime being broken?
No, there isn't.
So it's consensual then, right?
Well, it's not consensual because if it was consensual, then that would be just me making contact with you without me being just dispatched to you.
Well, since there's not a crime, then you have no investigation, right?
Well, no, it is that's the reason why I'm here. I didn't know that you were standing behind the IBC bank.
Is suspicion a crime?
No, it's not.
So you have no reason to be here, right?
No, I do. I'm advising you that I got a call.
Oh, okay. So I think what you would do is make contact with them then.
No, because I don't know.
Oh. So you just got an anonymous call.
Dispatch, just dispatch.
Okay. Well, I don't really give ID.
Well, you're required to right now because obviously I got a call. It's not a consensual encounter.
I'm only required to give ID. I believe it's 3802 Penal Code. I'm only required to give ID if I'm lawfully arrested. I'm not lawfully arrested.
Well, no. Obviously, if you're arrested, then yes,
right.
Obviously you're required to give your information. Mm-hmm. But what I'm trying to make you understand is this isn't a casual encounter. I just didn't drive by here and just say,
all right, listen up. Today, we're diving into a confrontation that perfectly exposes how law enforcement can be blind to the very laws they're supposed to uphold. Right from the start, we witnessed two officers completely contradicting each other, yet both insisting this man must surrender his Fourth Amendment rights, his ID, despite no crime being committed. This is not theory. This is reality. Calls come in, anonymous and vague, but suddenly a citizen is under suspicion. Not because of evidence, not because of crime, but because someone called. And here's the kicker. The officers can't even agree on whether this is a consensual encounter or not. Watch closely because what follows is chaos dressed up as law enforcement.
I didn't know that you were out here.
You're right.
Okay?
So in terms of your investigation was a suspicious person.
Yeah, that's how the call came. And obviously you're not doing anything wrong. I mean, I can see that you're just standing here with your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not. You know what I mean?
So
and
why
you're not in any trouble.
I mean, I wouldn't know that. If I surrender my Fourth Amendment, I could be wanted. Then I'd be surrender of Fourth Amendment, then I could be in trouble.
In trouble for what?
I'm just saying, in hypothetical scenarios, we watch cops all the time, right? It still comes on TV. When someone surrenders their Fourth Amendment, such as their ID, you guys run that through NCIS, and then you go, or ASIS, you're right, and you run their system, their information is look for warrants. So now they surrendered their Fourth Amendment, then they're subject to arrest.
Okay, so do you understand the reason why I'm here?
Yeah,
I totally understand that, but that would be like in a whole different circumstance, right? This isn't a traffic stop or anything like that. Right. It's not a casual encounter. I mean, you can just provide me information. We did get a call that you were out here reporting vehicles. Again, you're not committing any crime. The only thing is that I got dispatched here.
Okay. No rings. You're not married?
No, sir.
Why not?
No need to be.
No need to be? Oh, wow. Woo.
If you don't mind, I'll be out of your hair. It's kind of hot out here, and you can continue.
It's a good shade. Look at this shade tree. Unfortunately, I cannot assist you with your investigation. That's not my job. I'm not going to do that. So even identifying me will be assisting you with your investigation.
Well, the thing is that I don't know you personally.
You're not supposed to. I'm a private citizen.
Yeah, of course. So
right.
What I'm saying is I got dispatched here.
Well, you gotta know.
So it's not a consensual encounter, right? You do have to identify, is what I'm saying.
I don't have to identify.
Because it isn't a
How long you been an officer?
A few years.
Few years.
Few years. The man stands calmly challenging them with simple questions. Is there a crime? He asks and they stumble. One says it's not consensual because of a dispatch call. Another twists definitions about suspicion and legal obligations. It's verbal tug-of-war. Each officer trying to justify their presence without acknowledging the law clearly. The citizen isn't aggressive. He's not committing a crime. Yet, The conversation escalates into demands for identification, invoking penal codes, NCIC runs, and hypothetical scenarios of arrest. This is where it gets dangerous. Ignorance of the law by those enforcing it can turn a simple encounter into a potential rights violation.
You know, I got a question. This is hypothetical speaking. This is not, I'm not insinuating nothing. It's a hypothetical conversation. When officers encounter a member of the public and a member of the public explains to them their right. Okay.
I can hear you. I can multitask.
Okay. Name?
How's it going, bro? Officer Munguia,
Badge number?
747.
747. What was your badge number? 747. Okay, just like a hypothetical question. I'm not insinuating nothing, but when officers encounter a member of the public and the member of the public state their rights or a penal code, why do officers never think that they're police? Is it because there's a code of conduct that says if you're a police, you wouldn't do this? If you're a police, you wouldn't be out here with a camera doing what you're doing. Is that like an internal thought process?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know.
Wow. So no one. So when I rewind this and play this, you're saying I gave an incomplete sentence?
That's not what I'm saying, sir.
Well, then why don't you know what I'm talking about?
So right now we're obviously you're going off topic, right?
I'm supposed to, because you have no reason to be here.
I do. I just explained that to you. We got a phone call,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just somebody concerned. That's all it is, right?
And now you're here.
And now I'm here. So it's not a consensual encounter, like I mentioned. I just didn't drive by here and decide to talk to you.
You did.
I didn't. I actually got here. So
It's a little too loud for us to just roll by and talk to people.
we just came into shift anyway. So
Well, the reason I say you did is because no one gave you a citation of a law being broken or a policy being broken. Therefore, for you to drive past and observe, you observe the suspicious person, which is me. You see no crime. He was given no crime.
no.
And you observe the suspicious person, which is me. And since you observed the suspicious person,
Yeah, I got you. No, like
hey, y'all body cameras rolling?
yeah.
Okay.
Like she just finished.
You know, I got a question. This is hypothetical speaking. This is not I'm not insinuating. This is a hypothetical conversation. When officers encounter a member of the public and a member of the public, explain to them their right. Okay, I can hear you. I can hold. Okay. Name. How's it going? Officer badge number 747. 747. What was your badge number? 77. Okay. Just like a hypothetical question. I'm not insinuating nothing, but when officers encounter a member of the public and a member of the public state their rights or a penal code, why do officers never think that they're police? Is it because there's a code of conduct, as if you're police, you wouldn't do this? If you were police, you wouldn't be out here with a camera doing what you're doing. Is that like an internal thought process? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know. Wow. So no one. So when I rewind this and play this, you're saying I gave an incomplete sentence? That's not what I'm saying, sir. Well, then why don't you know what I'm talking about? So, clears throat. Right now, obviously you're going off topic, right? I'm supposed to because you have no reason to be here. I do. I just explained that to you. We got a phone call, right? It's just somebody concerned. That's all it is, right? And now you're here. And now I'm here. So, it's not a consensual encounter. Like I mentioned, I just didn't drive by here and decide to talk to you. Oh, you did? Laughter. I actually got up here. So, it's a little too loud for us to just laughter, roll by, and talk to people. We just came in a shift anyway. So, well, the reason I say you did is because no one gave you a citation of a law being broken or policy being broken. Therefore, for you to drive past and observe, you observe the suspicious person, which is me. You see no crime. He was given no crime. No. And you observed this suspicious person, which is me. And since you observed the suspicious person, yeah, I got like, hey, y'all body cameras rolling. Yeah. Okay. Like she just finished. Every exchange is layered with confusion. The officers argue amongst themselves while the citizen points out contradictions. If I give you my ID, would you run it through the system? No. Then why demand it? This isn't just semantics. It's fundamental civil rights. The scene exposes how discretion without accountability can spiral. Officers cite calls for service and reasonable suspicion, but falter on definitions, failing to articulate the exact legal requirements. The man remains calm, insisting on his rights, highlighting the dangerous gap between law enforcement practice and actual law. What's supposed to be protection of citizens becomes a theater of misinformation.
got a call, right? So whenever we get a call, you're matching description, we just, come say what's up, right? Make sure you're good. You know what I mean?
But listen, I want to have a lower level conversation real quick. This is my hypothetical question. Why is it that when officers are called to the scene, even if it's not a crime, like what I'm doing right now, why is it that when you engage with a member of the public, when the member of the public state their rights, and if I state penal code, if I state case law, why is it that police officers never think, is he a police officer? It's almost like you guys just be like, he's not a lawyer, he's not a police officer, whatever he's saying. Why is it that type of like posture?
Yeah, no, I mean, we listen to people, right? It's a part of our job, every single day. When people are right, I tell them, okay, you're right. You know what I mean?
Okay, now watch this. Is this a consensual encounter?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Just because it's a call for service.
Right, because it's a call for service.
Yeah.
But when it's a call for service, you guys are here to enforce the law.
Not necessarily.
Then what else do you enforce?
So like reasonable suspicion, right?
What's reasonable?
Reasonable?
That's articulable reason
This is what a
suspicion.
reasonable person would believe. You know what I mean?
Is that a penal code reason?
It's in the penal code.
It says articulable suspicion that a crime is being committed or about to be committed.
I don't know the definition textbook off my head, right? But reasonable suspicion, probable cause, they're all different levels.
Right.
But like I said, call for service, usually just reasonable suspicion. You know what I mean? It's not probable cause, right? Like, it's not
Right.
probable cause.
So that's no probable cause me to ID. But that's not what she's saying. We're still here because she's saying I have to ID.
Oh, that's her call, right?
No.
Officer in charge here.
She's officer in charge?
Yeah.
But you still have a duty to correct any erroneous mistakes.
By now, tensions are mounting. The man uses hypotheticals, pressing the officers to reconcile their conflicting statements. Why is it that when I state the law, it's dismissed as rambling? He asks. Their responses are fragmented. One officer defers, claiming she sees things differently. The other repeats vague justifications. No one checks the law on the spot. No corrections, no verification, just assumptions. The public witness here is calm, rational, and armed with knowledge. Yet, the officers continue to misrepresent legal obligations. This interaction underscores a harsh reality. Being in uniform does not automatically mean knowing or enforcing the law correctly. Yeah, right? So,
I don't see any mistakes going on here. Right?
You just said I don't have to ID. I just told you she said I have to. Now you say you don't see a mistake?
Well, that's her call. Maybe she sees something that I don't.
I don't know what to call you.
Yeah. How you doing?
You're gonna be good if we leave.
Yeah.
Look, like I mentioned before, you're not committing a crime, right? And you're obviously aware of that, right?
Right.
You obviously got concerned citizens. You're recording, right?
But no,
So-
you're nice. But my thing is this. When a member of the public engages with law enforcement, we should be able to give our understanding also in such a way to you guys shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. Because if there was a real investigation, if I was breaking the law, you guys would take your time to detail a police report, what they call them, witnesses. You guys would take your time to get a full report.
Sometimes our hands are limited, right? Like I mentioned earlier, it was just a concerned citizen, so we don't have any information to go based on.
Right. I know that, but I'm saying, like, since you don't have that,
We don't, and so the call came out. Guy matching your description. You're obviously holding a camera, you're
Right.
recording, so that's all we have. That's all we have to work on right now. So that's why I'm making contact with you right now.
But for future reference, I just want you to know that is not enough to ID someone.
Okay.
And I think you know that. I think you probably got to update it.
It just
I think
it makes it easier, right? And like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble, like you had mentioned. I'm trying to make contact with you.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm doing my job.
No, you are. But see,
Right.
part of your job is to enforce accurate law. If you're misinterpreting the law, now you're violating someone's rights unknowingly. You can do it knowingly or unknowingly. Like this gentleman, when you went to the car, he said I did not have to ID. Now, that's counterproductive to what you said. So then when I told the gentleman, well, tell her that, then he said, well, it's not my stop.
the conversation digs deeper. They argue over definitions, reasonable suspicion, probable cause, penal code citations, and lawful arrests. One officer insists an ID must be provided during a call for service. Another admits the public isn't always required. Misinformation reigns. The man points out accurately that this contradictory approach could make someone vulnerable if they comply blindly. Here, the system's cracks are exposed. Misinterpretation of law, lack of internal consistency, and the danger of discretionary enforcement with zero accountability. The message is clear. Understanding your rights isn't optional. It's survival. See, now we have a difference of understanding here. We got two law officers saying two different things.
Difference of understanding here. We got two law officers saying two different things. That is a problem. You should be on the same page. And then he said he doesn't know the exact penal code verbiage, articulable suspicion. That's another bad thing because you have to know that to make a proper investigation or proper arrest.
I just go into my business. Are you prior law enforcement? Or are you just something that you just study because you like it?
I'm definitely, I've been in government.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in government, and so.
Look, like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble, and you haven't committed a crime, right? Like I had mentioned before. You're gonna be good. We won't have to
But that's not good enough.
Well, the thing is that
because you gave misinformation. You said I did not have the ID. Did you say that? And then when I said, well, tell her that, there's no proper cause. So then why did you say I have the ID?
Well, because it wasn't a casual encounter.
It just make it easy. That's not a legitimate circumstance. I want to know the right answer. So I'm trying to get you guys to get on the same page. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to know, why did you say I don't have the ID, and why are you saying I do have the ID?
I did get dispatched. He didn't get dispatched.
Doesn't matter. He's law enforcement.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is he probably just did a roll by him. I'm pretty sure he didn't get dispatched to here. I have a call. Like I have an actual call that
I mean, there's always an officer in charge for any situation, but that doesn't mean you didn't know what's going on, right?
Okay, so like I mentioned, I did get a call. Mm-hmm. I have a call was created for me to be contacted. Mm-hmm. This isn't, like I mentioned, I just didn't casually drive up here and I was on the other side of town when this call came in.
Right.
Right. So all I'm saying is.
Okay, let me ask you this: if I would have gave you my ID, would you have ran my name?
Ran it?
Would you have ran it in the system?
No, I would have logged it in.
As the encounter stretches, the officers struggle to answer fundamental questions. They admit they are not running warrants. They acknowledge they could log encounters differently, and one even admits gaps in knowledge about penal codes. The citizen presses, asking how a member of the public is supposed to know when discretionary powers are applied. Silence, deflection. This back and forth isn't just frustrating, it's revealing. It shows that law enforcement, even when well-meaning, can be dangerous when they enforce the law incorrectly, contradict themselves, or fail to understand the limits of their authority. The stakes are higher than anyone realizes. So you want to write it for warrants?
So you want to ran for warrants?
No, there's a difference. I can log it in that I'm in contact with you, and obviously you haven't committed a crime. And running it through the NCIC, TCIC,
right,
which you had mentioned, is totally different. I wouldn't have done that.
Now let me ask you this: how would a member of the public know when you're going to make that discretionary decision?
You could have asked me just like you did right now.
But
or you could have probably heard.
I've done it before. I've done it before, and I know. And that's the bad thing about law enforcement encounter. You know, when a member of the public says something that happened in the past, law enforcement says, "Well, that's a different situation." But when you guys encounter us and you say, well, you could be doing this, you could be doing that, then we can say, well, that's a different situation. So it goes both ways, you know. Right.
Yeah, every situation is different. Unfortunately, we're here because, like I mentioned before, there's the call that I received, right? And that's basically, like I mentioned, you're not in any trouble or anything like that.
You guys got cards?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can write the CAD number on there, this call for service number on there for me.
You want the CAD narrative number?
Yeah. So, you don't want to say, are you the kind of public official that don't correct their officers when they're wrong?
I don't know if she's right or wrong.
You don't know penal code?
I do.
What's penal code for ID?
Penal code for ID?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense.
What is the penal code for when a member of the public is required to identify themselves?
When they're suspected of committing a crime.
Right. Am I suspected of committing a crime? So
like I said, we got reasonable suspicion, we got probable cause, we got mere suspicion.
All that is separate though.
Yeah. But you're rambling on about all these different levels. I'm
rambling?
Yeah, you keep throwing different names.
Isn't that what you guys use to articulate an arrest or a citation? You use penal code, right? Yeah. So when
Finally, the citizen confronts the heart of the problem, public accountability. You need to touch up on your law and your fundamentals. He states bluntly, this is not an insult. It's a cold truth. The officer's conflicting statements, misapplied laws, and lack of internal consistency illustrate how ordinary citizens are vulnerable when police act on calls, assumptions, or misinterpretations. Every citizen could be anyone, a journalist, an agent, a lawyer. But the officer's ignorance leaves the public exposed. It's a systemic weakness and one that can have serious consequences for everyone. Citations, right? So when a member of the
public brings up penal code, then they're rambling.
Well, I mean, you don't really stay on one topic. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Because you guys have no reason to be here, so I have to use subject matter examples to get you guys to understand.
Well, it's like she just finished telling you, man. We do have a reason to be here just because of the call.
Now,
Right? That doesn't mean we're, telling you, hey, you're committing a crime or whatever, right? But it's just a concerned citizen, right? Our citizens are responsible.
you're Daffy Duck. You need to touch up on your law and your fundamentals, because you are a casualty to the city, and you, by the way you interpret things, it's not good for law enforcement.
That's not a case number. My stretch check out. It's just the kind of narrative call that
It's information. If you guys are here on an information call.
Yes.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Be safe, man.
Hey, and always remember, every member of the public could be an FBI agent. They could be anybody. So when you give inaccurate representations of the law, you're opening yourself up to situations and circumstances. And we don't want to do that because the taxpayers have nothing to do with it. Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
The encounter wraps, but the lesson is searingly clear. Trust in law enforcement isn't automatic. Officers may witness colleagues violate rights, yet do nothing. They may admit ignorance multiple times, yet the system continues. This is why knowing your rights isn't just smart, it's essential. Awareness, documentation, and education are the weapons citizens have in situations like this. So take note, record encounters, question authority respectfully, and never assume compliance is optional. Because in this system, your knowledge might be the only thing protecting you from being misrepresented, misidentified, or wrongfully targeted. The truth? Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Stay empowered.
You too. The encounter wraps, but the lesson is searingly clear. Trust in law enforcement isn't automatic. Officers may witness colleagues violate rights, yet do nothing. They may admit ignorance multiple times, yet the system continues. This is why knowing your rights isn't just smart, it's essential. Awareness, documentation, and education are the weapons citizens have in situations like this. So take note. Record encounters, question authority respectfully, and never assume compliance is optional. Because in this system, your knowledge might be the only thing protecting you from being misrepresented, misidentified, or wrongfully targeted. The truth. Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Stay empowered.